Woo! What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming at you today with another video, and you might have noticed didn't do the clap today. I have torn two ligaments in my shoulder. Long story short, I got bursitis too as well. If you don't know what that is, it's fluid in your shoulder. Last Saturday, I sustained an injury at the gym. I was going really good at the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I was thinking I was feeling really good that day. It was a Saturday right after work. I was on day shift, and I was trying to do some bench press and 80-pound dumbbells crashing down on my shoulders. And thinking I was 25 again. I didn't feel I was going too heavy though at the time. I was feeling strong. It was my heavy week, taking those out of the regimen from now on. But I'm going to be on the shelf with the clap. I'm not gonna, with no more clapping. No more clapping for now. It hurts way too much. I can barely even move this arm. And no work, no anything like that as of right now. I'm going to be off for a little bit. Hopefully I don't have to go through no surgery. So we got that out of the way. No more clap for a bit, but the woo's still going to be there. But you know, this is going to be a rookie minicamp observation. Day one, I believe there's 3 days going on here, and by guys like John Macaron and Jeremy Reisman. I didn't really find anybody else. Usually I go through guys like Jeff Risden, Eric Schlitt, those guys. It's been a little bit quiet right now, but John Macaron and Jeremy Reisman kind of put some stuff out today for day one for rookie minicamp observations. Make sure that I say that John Macaron and Jeremy Reisman do that, because some people get a little bit stupid and think that, you know, that as YouTubers we steal content. I'm not stealing anybody's content. I am just telling you what these guys are saying, and I'm giving all the credit in the world to guys like John Macaron, and I'm just giving my opinion on some of the things that he has to say. So here's some of the mini camp observations. We'll go over the roster a little bit of who's there. There's veterans. There's actually some veterans there. Draft picks, obviously, and some tryout players. I'll go through these players really quick. Won't really spend too much time on them. Veterans, the veteran guys like safety Brandon Joseph is there. Linebacker Mitchell Agude. O-lineman Michael Neese. O-lineman Connor Galvin. D-lineman Chris Smith. And defensive lineman Matthew Betts, the Canadian superstar from the CFL. Those guys are called the veterans. They've got a couple years, you know, in the NFL and or CFL, obviously with Betts right there. You know, guys like, you know, Connor Galvin, Chris Smith, Brandon Joseph. These guys have been with the Lions for a year or two, so they got that veteran status, and they are at rookie minicamp. Now the draft picks: cornerback Terrion Arnold, cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr., offensive lineman Giovani Manu, running back / safety Sione Vakai, offensive guard Christian Mahogany, and D lineman Makai Wingo. Those guys are there too. Obviously, the draft picks and some UDFAs are there also as well. Safety Chalon Gaines, quarterback Monique or Monice Morris. I think I might have write this guy's name down. My bad. Kicker James Turner, Michigan guy. Offensive linebacker, outside linebacker. Sorry, Isaac Ukwu was a little bit interesting. Safety Lawrence Strickland. Long snapper Hogan Hatton, linebacker Steele Chambers, OSU guy, and linebacker Deron Gilbert, offensive linebacker Nate Lynn, interesting guy too, offensive lineman Duke Clemens, center guy, probably like 3 centers, center Brian Hudson, their center Kingsley Eguakan, a really good center from Florida. Right there, that probably should have been drafted, but he I believe he had an ankle injury. Wide receiver Jalen Calhoun, wide receiver Isaiah Williams, who's another interesting product out of Illinois, and then tight end Isaac Rex. Those are the undrafted free agents that they brought in, and then some of the tryout players that they brought in too as well. Quarterback Theo Day, wide receiver Devin Maddox, wide receiver Drew Dixon, quarterback Cade Patterson, running back Michael Herzog. Shout out Canadian Michael Herzog too. He's from my hometown of Windsor. Played at Holy Names High School, and then went out to play at Hillsdale College, I believe it was, and broke some records over there too in Division II football as a running back. Good little running back. Had a little bit of a he had a little bit of a eye opener today though, but that's okay. The kid can play football. And he got drafted by the Montreal Alouettes, by the way, too. So congratulations to Michael Herzog. And cornerback, Kyler McMichael. Safety, Ayu Oyalola. Cornerback, J.J. Ross. Cornerback, Harrison Hand. Linebacker, Tyron Dupree. Outside linebacker, Daryl Johnson. Tight end, Parker Hesse. Wide receiver, Caden Davis. D lineman, DJ Smith. And D lineman, Josh Landry. So a bunch of guys in attendance at the camp. And here are some of the observations from John Macaron, Jeremy Risen. John Macaron did most of the work on this one, though, guys. Offensive lineman Giovani Manu is being cross-trained as we speak at guard and tackle. Kind of something that I alluded to when I said that we drafted him and I kind of talked about him. He sees himself more as a guard, I think, or he was told he's going to play some more guard, but he's being cross-trained at tackle and guard as well. He played a lot of tackle at the University of British Columbia, but he does have experience at guard as well. So he was out there cross-training. Is he the replacement for Decker? We'll soon find out. Decker's on his last year's contract. It's a whole other thing we can talk about way down the road. But right now he's in camp. Hank Fraley must be really salivating to get his hands on this kid. So he's got good bend, according to John Macaron, good bend. He played with some bend. He's super athletic. And he has some pretty good feet because people are a little bit worried about his feet and his technique. He's long. So, and he's just a massive human being out there. And it's very noticeable. Obviously, it's 6'8", 350 plus pounds. He was seen moving well, held his own, showed some power, and he had some leverage on some guys too as well out there. So holding his own day one against his peers. Now the learning part, back to basics. Obviously, they were learning to getting in and out of the huddle. Obviously this is just back to basics. They haven't had a lot of football in a long time since, after the season ends, you start getting ready for training camp, for combine, tryouts, pro days, all that stuff, interviews. A lot of football stuff isn't getting done. So you go right back to basics, learning how to get in and out of the huddle, offensively and defensively, both sides of the ball. You'll love that as well. And then a few fumble exchanges did occur on Friday. 4th-round rookie running back, safety, Sione Vakai put one on the turf. And running back Michael Herzog, the Canadian kid out of Windsor, Ontario, had the ball popped out of his arms and had a fumble. So, running back coach Scotty Montgomery, he was buzzing over that. He got a little bit fired up, and he was really concentrating on those two kids, trying to get them fundamentals, grip the ball, security, don't walk around with that loaf of bread in your hand. You got to hold it in tight. So he was really concentrating on those guys, and Vakai loved it. He said after the practice he loves the way Scott Montgomery approached him. He's very attentive to detail. He's the type of guy that's going to tell you the truth. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to tell you what you need to know to be successful. So good for Vakai, saying the right things. Now Terrion Arnold moving around really gracefully out there, apparently fundamentally sound, looking good. Telling everybody, had a nice little story about, he said he would put his mom into the dirt if she was out there going up against him one-on-ones. He's a very competitive kid. I guess him and his mom, wrestled and very competitive. Mom kicked him in the mouth. He said when he was young, all in good fun, but very spirited. Very spirited, competitive with his mother, and he's like my mom knows. Like I'm putting her in the dirt. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. She knows. She'd do the same thing to me. So you love the spirit right there, and you love that he'd be kind of a funny guy as well too. Him and Rakestraw, the second round corner that they drafted, looking like they're bonding. They were doing an interview with I believe it was Terrion, and he pulled in Rakestraw and said, "Hey man, me and this guy are the young bucks. We're coming here to play. We're bonding well," and then they were kind of going back and forth, having a little bit of fun with each other. So you like that too, bonding quick in the D. And on Enos, Rakestraw himself, off to the side for portion of the practice. You got to remember he's coming off an injury. He had a core injury, sports hernia, if you will, surgery on that, and he also had a groin injury as well last year. So he had some injuries, and he was like off to the side. just kind of observing as well, not fully engaged physically out there, but taking the mental reps. So taking it slowly with the kid too. So just coming off that injury, but he is good to go, but you can't be too careful. And then they also had him at nickel cornerback as well for I think most of the day or all of the day. I know Macaron and Reisman did. We're kind of talking about that as well too, saying because there's a possibility that Brian Branch could be not fully just moved to safety, but there was talks about it in March after the season was done. After the season was done, Dan Campbell was like, we really want to put more on the plate for Branch because they kind of did it his rookie year. They were going back and forth, nickel corner, safety, and then Aaron Glenn comes on and goes, I just want to keep him at nickel right now because it's a little bit too much as a rookie. But then they saw that he can just handle things. So then after the season, Campbell's like, we're gonna up his program. We're gonna give him more on his plate. He's gonna be learning more safety this year. We're gonna play him more at safety, and going after Rakestraw, I think was a big sign that that they have that in their back of their heads that there's a possibility that they can move Branch not fully back to the safety position, but him being back there is something that they're really thinking about. Just drafting Rakestraw himself because I think he's a true nickel. I think he's a true nickel anyways. He said that he feels very, very comfortable at the nickel spot. He started there as a freshman at Missouri. So that's another good thing too. So then the 7-on-7s as well too. Quarterback Case Peterson was the better quarterback in day one over a guy, Theo Day. Tight end Parker Hesse with a couple snags as well, and running back Michael Herzog, the Canadian kid, with the catch as well. It's good that he did that. Keep an eye on Peterson. He's like a 2023 GLIAC Player of the Year. Crazy arm talent, decent size, dual threat. Threw for over 7,200 plus yards and 16 plus 100 on the ground. 33-5 record or 3 seasons, a bunch of touchdowns. Keep an eye on that kid. Not saying he's going to surpass anybody like Goff or Hendon Hooker, but you never know. It could be bye Nate Sudfeld, but who knows? It's way too early to tell that. Now BYU tight end Isaac Rex hauling in a couple catches as well, using his body. He's a big-bodied kid. That big frame of his going up, getting contested balls. So you like to see that too as well. Cornerback Kyler McMichael with a punch out. He broke it up a pass intended for Caden Davis. So looking pretty good there. Almost done here, guys. The undrafted free agent guy to watch right now, according to those guys, and I think a lot of it is true. I think we're hearing his name more and more. Wide receiver Isaiah Williams out of Illinois, Fighting Illinois. Very productive, a smaller wide receiver, not fast, had a 4.64, but gets open, productive, good hands. I know I was listening to some of the comps that they were talking about with him. I haven't watched any film on him. I still got to do some UDFA film, but there's I've already seen one or two experts, say that he comps a little bit to Amon-Ra St. Brown, just the playing style. Just he gets open, good hands, he's gritty, he's tough, even for a smaller guy. I think he's only weighing like 180 something pounds, if that. But they say he comps a lot to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he was very productive at Illinois. Very, very productive. Not drafted, probably because of that terrible 40. But doesn't mean that you can't play football. But he's going to be an interesting guy, and they're saying he's a UDFA guy to watch. But right now, I think it was Ray Agnew. She said pretty much he's going to be a special teams guy, especially in the return game. He returned punts for 2 years at Illinois, the last 2 years, and he was pretty good at it too. Playmaker was the word that Ray Agnew used. And the last but not least, tryout player, cornerback JJ Ross. Had an interception. Don't know who threw the ball. Didn't really say. On a 7-on-7. He's a 6'3" cornerback from Western Illinois. Maybe keep an eye on that kid too. Could maybe slip in there. Maybe a special team guy. Good size at 6'3". You really that physical cornerback, and if he's making plays like interceptions, you really like to hear that stuff. So that was kind of it, guys. That was it. That was all I could really find. I usually go to guys like Reisman, Macaron, Jeff Risden, Eric Schlitt, Burkett, Tim Twentyman, all those guys. Those guys didn't really come up with anything except for Macaron and Reisman a little bit. So mostly Macaron, and I really appreciate that, so I can get that to you guys. And I really, I got to give these guys a lot of credit for putting out the work. And hey, man, they make my job a lot easier because I don't have the luxury of going out there. I wish I could, but I don't really live too close there. So hoping to get out there this summer. But that's it, guys. Day one, rookie mini camp. These are some of my favorite videos to do. By the way, because I try to get into rookie mini camps, I try to get into the OTAs, and then I really get into the training camps. You get into the meat and potatoes of what's really going on this team, and it just tells you who's kind of elevating and who's kind of falling down the ladder a little bit. And we got a couple guys that are already making a little bit of noise. So I love that. Day one in the books. Appreciate it, guys. It's a wrap for day one. Day two will come there tomorrow too as well. But I want to say thanks a lot, guys, for coming and watching the video. Appreciate it. Don't forget the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Hit that ring-a-ding-ding. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Can't really point with the left. Appreciate you guys. Detroit versus everybody. One pride. Let's go. Boom.